We are live. Welcome to another edition of Leaders Being Heard, dedicated to business analysts. Today with me is, as usual, Andra and Christina, and I am your host, Marius. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Hi. So today we are continuing. Last week we discussed about should the business analyst be a technical person or not. So today we are continuing this discussion and we are asking ourselves, what if the business analyst is not a techie, right? So we want to look at this from this perspective. So we ask this question: what happens when the business analyst is not a technical person, is not a developer, doesn't have experience with engineering? So let's see where this conversation goes. So the first question that I see today is like, okay, so what is the issue, right? So we're addressing this business analyst for some time now, right? So what is the issue, right? What is the problem if the business analyst is not a technical person? Christina, would you like to start?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. It may become a problem. It may not, or it may become a problem. So circumstances where we might encounter a problem if I, as a business analyst, I'm not a technical person, of course, comes with maybe more technical projects. So when you work into the backend, when you work with infrastructure, when you work in those areas, maybe it's a little bit more difficult to understand.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we need less technical knowledge with projects that deal with more people interaction, with more information exchange, which is maybe easier to understand and is more focused on business rules, for example. But nevertheless, I think the question, how techie am I think it comes in every circumstance, and the need actually comes in the conversation we have with the development team, where if I don't understand the language, then there is a barrier, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be also with the stakeholders, in case they are technical persons, or or in case they require something which I don't know, it's possible, it's not possible. But this opens up a big world of what do I know? However, what do I do if I don't know?
Mm-hmm. So it's more like, so first thing is, when we look at this, if it's not a technical person, it's a language barrier. This is what I am listening for, right? So it's you in a way, as the business analyst, being a bridge between the customer and the engineering team, right? You need to speak the language to ideally both of them, right? But in a way, you are most being in the middle, you need to have this language. So now you don't speak the language, right? So now it's a question for Andra, right? How do you deal with this? You don't know the language, because some of us, right, in terms of behavior and so on, tend to overcome this unknown and learn, or hide it, or being frustrated, and in the end not being very happy about what they are doing. So what do you think, Andra? How do you cope
So
with this?
the language might appear if it's a technical project,
Mm-hmm.
or also it can be if it's not a technical project. You still have a language barrier with the developers, maybe not with the client, but also the client might ask you technical stuff and you might think, oh, I need to know. So your question was, how do you deal with this barrier, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, as you said, it's different. We are all different, and the relationship we have with ourselves is different. And you might make it mean that, oh, I should know,
Mm-hmm.
and you might want to hide it. Yes, and then that
you're not self-confident. And especially if you're like just starting as a BA, you don't know what you're supposed to know. Yes. And how can you deal with that is you can validate that it's okay not to know. Yes, like make it okay. It's okay not to know. So I will ask. Yeah, so you start asking around. It depends what is that you don't know. Yes, because if you don't ask, you might spend time trying to figure out something, days and days, or study. Oh, I should know that. I can say that because I was that kind of a person. Yes, until I learned to ask, and even with the client you can ask, and with the development team you can ask. Or as a junior just starting, you can go to the senior BAs and you can say, okay, am I supposed to know that? What should I study? Look, I had this conversation. I did not understand anything. Should I know what you are guys talking about or the others? So it's a lot of communication and accept the help or request the help. So this is one with one idea, that's one trick, I would say, yeah, to work with yourself.
And how do you, so what you got is more in the direction to be open, right, and to ask for help and to acknowledge the fact that you don't know and not compensate or overcompensate on your own, right? How do you how can you be aware of this behavior of yours? Because I mean, in a way, people start overcompensating directly, start reading, right? And they go in that direction, right? Like, oh, I don't know this, I need to learn it, right? So I go and learn this new technology, this thing. So how do you catch yourself to not do this?
So this usually you do it after the meeting. So how you can catch yourself? Well, when you notice you spend time on finding out something and you think it's not enough, I should know more and more, and you don't stop, then it's probably the impact is that you spend a lot of time doing that and finding out. So this is a moment that you catch yourself after a while, probably. And then it's, how do you catch yourself during the meeting? Yes, because it's, how do I respond in that moment? I'm with the client and they ask, okay, and how is this done technical? Or what is the solution? They ask you. And in that moment, you might think, oh my God, they expect me to know, so I should know. Or you might validate it and to say, yeah, it's okay. And to say, well, I will speak with the team. I'm not qualified to do that. Or you can even say like, yeah, I don't know. Or if you want to hide it, you might try to say something that it's just to talk about something, but you don't know what to talk about. So when you catch yourself, it's in that moment is like, do I really know? Yes. And if I don't, well, I have a choice. I acknowledge it or I fake it. I can say I don't know it. But now from my experience, and I'm a techie, and I worked with the client, it depends also on the client, because somebody might not be nice. Oh, but why is it that you don't know? You should know. Yes, it might happen to have, and then your self-confidence goes down. And then what do? You keep saying, yeah, okay, I will check with the team and come back. Christina, you want to say something?
Yeah, I always I wanted to say something. I like how you split between how do I react during the meeting and how do I react after the meeting. So yes, during the meeting, if I don't know, then I don't know. Even if somebody is upset that I don't know, I still don't know, and that's fine. I will do something about it afterwards. And that's okay. After the meeting, and this I think is the more complex conversation, is how do I deal with it on a longer term? And I would say, at least for me, the anchor is that I have to know what a BA is supposed to do.
Mhm.
Yeah, what is my job actually? Is it supposed for me to know the technical language? I would say this is not the first priority. If that's so, then I have to know my first priority, which is handle requirements, understand them, make them clear, make the stakeholder specify very clear results expected. That's my job. After I do that, and even if that person is a technical person, then okay, even if I don't understand your language, is this exactly what you want to say? And then I go to the team and then I try to understand. Of course, I start to teach myself. I start to learn. And you mentioned to go to the senior BA. And if a senior BA is not there, is not available for any reason, I would suggest to go to the dev team and say, guys, tell me one YouTube video, two YouTube videos. Tell me something that I should know that you think it's basic. I mean, it's an open conversation. It's something that the development team also, they want to have an easy conversation with me. So it's in their interest to make me know without super effort. I mean, they don't expect me to come after 1 year and I'm super proficient, but they need me to be effective tomorrow or in a week. So I think it's a win-win if I go and ask, guys, tell me, I have an example from, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, GraphQL. I don't know. I have recently heard about it. I heard it simple. I looked at it. It was Japanese. Okay. It didn't work. So spent 1 hour, said I saw I didn't understand. The next thing was I went to a colleague, tell me how to read it. It took 2 hours or the most just to go through documentation. He let me ask my question, and okay, now I can read. I mean, it doesn't have to be like I panic, like I don't know, I have to take a training, I have to do something. Wow, I need to just bridge that communication gap to get into the conversation. I don't need to give solutions.
It's very good what you said with this example. I really like it in the way that sometimes because people speak technical terms or technical language, we as a person, right, like people, we tend to compensate and go full steam, right, on learning the from zero everything, right? So this is, as you said it, I think it's also like keeping your high ground, right, as a BA. And my question to you, Christina, is as well, right? What is that you do as a BA, right? And remind people, like being like a mantra, what is that they supposed to do?
Yeah, so it's this anchor always, like, guys, first of all and foremost, I don't need to read. I don't need to know how to read GraphQL. Of course, there is a nuance. Of course, if I went and asked, it means I needed it. But this is not my first priority. And in this case, this saves, as Andra was saying, my self-confidence. This doesn't mean I'm whatever you fill in the blanks, right? It's just something I don't know. I saw that I don't know. I saw that I needed it. Okay, I will fill in the blanks. But for a junior person, everybody would know that you're a junior person. Yeah, I would. I maybe the people, they don't realize that the expectations are also a bit. I mean, are adjusted. People are not mean to each other. I think it's more like into how we build it for us, and we say, oh, I'm going to meet with the lions, and the lions are going to eat me. No, I mean, they know there is a process, and of course they might have expectations, but still you can say, okay, next time I will remember about this remark or feedback, and I can. It's a learning, but I think we are going to accepting where we are, and then defining what is our next step from a technical perspective. And what I find here funny, there is no recipe for success. You don't know what you need. Okay, if you are in a lifetime in the same project, business, whatever system, okay, take the junior, you know what to teach, learn this, and that's it. But what if we change the project? We can't know it all. It's impossible. Then why be so harsh on ourselves?
Yeah, we are harsh on ourselves, and this is like, as you said, behind the scenes for you is that you are confident as a BA, and what happened is that you validated and you said, it's okay that I don't know, I will go ask. I tried on my own, I will go ask. And this is to build the confidence, and if you keep it to yourself, you cannot build it. And I really see that the BA, it's a great communicator. So it's always open. Go to that person, go to that person. So it's, and the growth can also be in communication, not only technical. Yes. So, yeah, Marius.
I have a question now, right? So this is all perfect, right? I mean, this means that in a way that the development team is open, the client is open. What happens when, let's take this example, right? The customer has some expectations, right, in his mind that you need to be like the technical person and so on, right? And it's not open to conversation, right? It has like an adversarial reaction or attitude. So how do you cope with that? And this is the question first is for Andrea and then for Christina, I would say, right? So for both of you is the same question. What do you do in terms of communication, right, with this person that is adversarial, that is like has some bigger expectations? And yeah.
So let's say you are in a meeting. I will give the context to see if I got what you are pointing to. You are in a meeting with the client, you as a BA, talking about how to do it or what needs to be done. Yes. And they ask some technical stuff. They ask if it's possible. Yes. And you don't know. And you say, I will check with the team and come back. And they say, it doesn't work. We need to know. Yes. What do you do in this situation?
Exactly.
Well, they might want it. I'm thinking about my daughter that throws a tantrum, but you don't have it in that moment. Yes. I don't have the candy. So it's okay. We can, how I see it, how I would do it is I will take a technical person with me. Okay, let's schedule a meeting and I will take somebody from the technical team if you need answers to that. I don't know if from the BA point of view, that is, when do you do it, when you don't. But if they want, okay, I will give it to you, not me personally, but I will bring the tech lead or somebody who can answer your questions if you need that.
This is the solution, the technical solution. Let's put it like this, right? Like, how do you do from the perspective? How do you catch yourself? Because I would assert that in that communication you are triggered, right? Like people are going to say, well, but I thought you are technical, and the conversation might go southways, right? Might go south. So the question is, how do you keep yourself straight and from the communication and from the being perspective, right? Being like stating your ground and being confident who you are, and there is nothing wrong there.
So if you react and you are triggered, you cannot be confident. And usually when you are with the client, you try to hide it. And sometimes it happens, like you react. There is again validated. You cannot always get it perfect. You're human. You are being triggered. Yes. But sometimes you can, if it happens again, you can look at, if I have the same situation in the future, how would I like to respond? Yeah. What happened? What was triggered for me? Well, here we have some steps actually in the creation of insights workshop. Is exactly what we do. We look at triggers. Yes. And this is a work that you can do. okay, what was that person said that triggered me? How do I feel about it? How would I like to respond? What can I put in practice next time? Yes. So when you catch it, it's a physical discomfort. Yes. And then it's like, so I don't like what is going on. It's like you're attacked. That is they are attacking me.
Mm-hmm.
Once you catch it and you validate and you say, I'm not in danger. Yes, I'm not being attacked. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Then you might start being able to continue the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you may not. It depends. Like I become silent. I'm not answering anymore. I'm upset. Yes, I had situations with the client and I was angry and I was all red and they asked, Andra, you're all red. What is happening? Yes. So sometimes you cannot hold it. But once you learn it, look in the future next time. How can I catch it and how can I validate? Once this is a big takeaway. Once you make it okay that you don't know, the others might say whatever they may say. You still are okay that it's okay not to know, and you might learn it.
Yes, you don't know it yet. So this is what I got is more like a journey, right? You need to be in a way aware of your reaction, look at it, of your triggers, but also be, what I heard is also be kind to you in a way, because this is, sometimes you might not catch yourself, and it's also like a learning curve in a way, right? So you first do something and then you analyze and do better next time and so on, right? So this is from the communication point of view. How about from the technical perspective, Christina? What do you see? Although Andra kind of pointed some, give us some hint.
Yeah, but I would continue what Andra said. I actually have such a conversation in mind when I'm answering to this. I think it also comes to accepting. I will not know. Yeah, I will never know to answer to that question. And maybe I don't want to know to answer to that question because it's far away. I need years to prepare. Am I ready to invest those years? I mean, conversations can get difficult. Context in projects they are complex. I can't know everything, right? And in such a conversation, when the client might push me to something that I don't know. So it's either I postpone it and I say, okay, I'll bring somebody who knows about it, or I can try and stick to my anchor and say, okay, so what is actually that you need? Do you need to define the architecture? Fine, I'll bring the architect, right? Because what I find in this battle, it's a struggle. It's not easy. It's difficult. It's really difficult. But in this struggle, in this conversation, I find out the customer cannot clearly state, and it's a frustration on their end that they cannot clearly state what they want. And then they say, bring me somebody who speaks my language. That's fine, but I can position myself in, I don't know if it's not that coaching situation, but it's in the pure BA situation when okay, tell me what you need, right? And it's frustrating for that person because they cannot formulate it because it's not clear. And I understand their need to speak to a technical person. That's fine. I mean, I can take the conversation up to some point and then I say, okay, I understand this is kind of what you need. Then I need to bring a colleague that speaks your language. But coming back to this acceptance, it's very important to stop at some point. Yeah, I will never be able to make architecture. It's years of experience, of struggles and learning and a lot of stuff. Development, the same. They are different jobs. So it's how much is enough for this kind of technical conversation. And if it's a mismatch in the meeting, if I meet somebody from the architecture side of the client and I'm not an architect, then I can take the conversation up to some point. I can define what I got out of there and then define the action items, the action. Of course, it's frustrating, and of course it feels very uncomfortable to state that I don't know. And I think everyone faces this one. I don't know, 99% of people, but it is what it is. Nothing is perfect. I mean, it's part of the conversation. And
so in a way, besides being aware of your triggers and being in conversation, it's also about being aware to your limits in a certain way, to being and acknowledging those limits. And also acknowledging the limits doesn't mean that you are not good at your job. It means that that conversation is needs another role. Let's put it like this. Like in this example, an architect, right? So perhaps a better conversation is you as a business analyst, an architect, and the client, right? So might be a better conversation for all of them. So I also
something I want to add.
Yeah, sure.
It's not only to acknowledge the limits that you have, is to create them. As Christina said, to be aware, this is where I stop. I don't need to know more. Because everybody knows about the imposter syndrome, and the secret is we all have it, no matter the job. And that if you engage into that and you start feeding it, you will want to know more. We want to know everything to show ourselves that we are good and we can answer everything, and then means that I'm good at my job. But it's to manage that and to create and to catch yourself. This is where I stop. This is not my job. I'm not touching that, and it doesn't mean that I'm not a good BA.
Yes.
Yeah, that is what I wanted, to create the limits.
Got it. Super. With this being said, I hope you enjoyed our conversation for today, and let us know what do you think. How do you deal with you not being a techie, or how people in your project that are BAs not being techie, how they deal with their project. Let us know what you think. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to be up to date to what we publish. Until next time, thank you, ladies, for a great conversation. And for all of you, see you next time. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.